Shalom, giving all praises, honor, glory, and worship unto Yahweh Shemel Shai Bahashim Chakodash, double honors unto the elders and the apostles of Great Millstone, and salutations to you, Akim, upon testimony of our Lord and Savior Yahweh Shai, in truth and in sincerity. It's, of course, Shabbat, Shabbat, Shalom, to all the sincere laborers. This is the Anointed prayer that we'll actually read and go through in detail. And this is a prayer. This is one of the essentials in this thing of ours for the initiated. This is one of the holy four, and it really is. And I'll go ahead and get into it. And I'm gonna read it thoroughly through in the Hebrew firstly, and then we're gonna break it down analytically, of course, to follow. So this is the anointed prayer, or the blessing prayer. Ya Barak Ka Yahweh wa Ya Shemar Ka. Yar Yahweh Pan Yawa Al Yaka wa Yachan Ka. Yasha Yahweh Pan Yawa Al Yaka wa Yesham Laka. That's a Ka. Shalom. Shalom. Wam. All right. All right. And of course, it's a prayer that you can say through thoroughly, but you do want to know the meaning. So a lot of brothers might know the prayer, but do you know the meaning of the words? That's important as well. All right. So firstly, we'll start with Ya Barak Ka, which Barak is bliss, and the Ya Barak is like shall bless, like it's future tense. So if the Ya is put in front, it can mean sometimes in the words, if it's like a noun, it'll mean he, or it'll be he, right? Like Yahweh, he is, which is Yahweh. But in this sense, for instance, with bless, which is more so verbiage, when the Yah's in front of it, it's future tense. All right, so Yah Barak, so shall bless. That's why you'll see the consistencies of these Yahs on all three of these lines, because all of these, the verbiage is conjugated with a Yah, because all of these are future tense. They're all aligned because it's just talking about the same thing. And the Lord deals with the spirit of prophecy. We always very much being futuristic. We're actually living in the times of the prophecies, though. It's a really beautiful thing. Anyway, in continuation, it says Yahweh, which Yahweh means he exists. That's the name of the Heavenly Father in the Paleo Hebrew, or one could say the Davidic Hebrew. All right, it says it says Wa Yeshemarka, or one could say biblical Hebrew, but anyway, it says Wa Yashemarka. Wa means and. All right, Yah, again, Yah is going into future tense. If I had an actual pen, I would have wrote Yah equals future tense, because that's what it is in this utilization with these verbs. All right. So Wa Yah Shamar. Shamar means protect or keep. Like Shamar Shakarium. Keep the bag, keep the money. Protect. Shamar Bayath, protect the house. So just showing you ways you can use this word shamar, but in this context, is meaning keep thee or protect thee. In the ka that you see in the blue, and pardon me, this was written a while back, but I flipped through it and I was going through it, but you got to go through the milk, and I felt that it would be edifying. So excuse me for any lack of detail in the inscription. Um, but the ka meaning thee or thy, and the ka is the blue, what you see in the blue. Ka, that's where you get K from. See, the Hebrew, English comes from Hebrew because English comes from Latin. Well, no, pardon me, English comes from German, which German comes from Greek. And there's a heavy Latin influence in English as well. But both Greek and Latin derive, now Latin is going to derive from the Greek, and the Greek is going to derive from the Hebrew. The original text of Greek was Phoenician based. When you look at the original Greek text, what you see as Greek text in Koinos Greek, that is not original Greek. Original Japhetic Greek text was Phoenician based. It was like the Hebrew alphabet. It looks identical to the Hebrew alphabet. Just like the Turks used to have their Turkish language in through the Arabic alphabet, but when the Arabs' blessings failed and the Esau blessings started to come on the rise, the Turks, those impersonated nomads who came and stole our land and who are in Turkey right now, they went to a Latin format or yeah, like a Latin format for their text for their language, you know. So this is what happened in the modern time period too, because that's not how it used to be originally. This is something that has changed over time. All right. It says it says you are. Let me get closer. You are, which means make shine, shall shine. You are, now the root word is a war, like the word light is a war, but when it's conjugated in its future tense is ya. You are. You are. Some pronounce it that way, and certain times the Hebrew is written. It is more efficient, I believe, in pronunciation to speak it as the Orient speak it, because when you deal with the Arabic language and the Akkadian, different Persian languages, when it comes to the R, and even in Spanish languages, when it comes to the R, they have a kind of imposition to, you know, not necessarily a roll, but it is like it's an exercise with the tongue to pronounce the R, and it does work out when it's put with a wa. When the ra and the wa are read together, it's sometimes more difficult to pronounce it efficiently. But when and this is just extra detail, but when you use the exercise with the tongue, sometimes you can pronounce it a little bit more efficiently. Same way like the Arabs do it, because the Arabs really get their language. Pardon me, the Arabs get their language from us, the Hebrew. It says Yahweh. The Arabs and the Persians. Yahweh, Pun Yahweh. All right, Yahweh again, of course. And Pun Yahweh is it's like before. It's like saying like Punya is like saying face, like the face of a man. All right, so it's saying make Yahweh make Yahweh should make his face shine. Al Yaka. Al is like upon or unto. Yaka thee. Wa Yachanka, and gracious, and give you grace. Panyawa is like before. Yeah, it's you can say before, but it's more so like saying like face. So are Yahweh make shine, shall make shine Yahweh his face before thee. He's going to make his face shine before thee. And of course, wisdom maketh a man face to shine. Now, then, through those devices will have stability. The wisdom and the knowledge. Isaiah spoke of it. It says wa yachanka. Yachan meaning gracious or grace, like the prophet John, similar to his name, Yachanan. That's the name of the prophets. The different prophets name after John as that name. It says Yash'a, which Yash'a. All right. Now again, is we see what the conjugation of the Yah, future tense of verb being conjugated. Now, guess what? What's the original way of saying Yash'a or lift up? It would be Nasa'a, and that's actually where NASA, the space force, they get their name from the Hebrew word Nasa'a, which means to lift up or to bear up. So yes, this is where they get their name from. But that's the root word. But this is conjugated. That's why it's Yasha'a. Yasha'a shall lift up Yahweh. Panyawa again, which is you can also translate it into continents. His countenance or his face. Aliyah unto thee. Ka, this is the D. It says Wa Yasham, Wa meaning and, Yasham meaning a point, which is Yasham really is shall a point. I believe Shawam is a point. I don't know if we got that written right here. Yep, Shawam is actually a point. To give a point, Shawam, right? But if it's future tense, the ya, that y disappears from between and is wa yesham and shall appoint la ka. Now I missed that. I should have put the ka. But there it is right there in the blue. Ka la meaning two, ka meaning the what shalom, which means what peace. All right, so we have the actual words, root words, war meaning shine, light, uh, al meaning upon, near, Hanan meaning gracious, Nasa'a meaning lift up, uh, Panya meaning face, Shawam meaning put, give, appoint, Shamar meaning protect or keep. All right, Shalom.